Hi everybody, my name is Ryan Neal. I'm product specialist with Caterpillar for our large excavators within North America. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take some time talking about our brand new 395 next generation excavator. This is a direct replacement for the 390F, and now we're going to walk through in a walk around of some of the features that we've talked about previously, the major changes from the 390F to today's brand new 395. So we're going to spend maybe 15-20 minutes walking around the machine, pointing out some of the new benefits that we have, talking about some of the technology, some of the extended durability we have on the machine, and the sheer differences of the layout of this 395 compared to the 390F. So hopefully this is informative for you and you get a lot out of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start right up here in the front of the machine. This machine is a bigger machine. It is called a 395 for a reason. It is increased in weight. We try to do our best to stay with weight-based nomenclature. And the 390F was a smaller machine, typically less than 200,000 pound weighing machine. This machine as it sits today with the 14 5-foot stick and the 27 7-foot boom, and this is a 6.8 yard bucket, sits about 207,000 pounds. That is considerably heavier than a like-figured 390F. And we're going to talk about where that weight came from and why we did it. And quite frankly we've spent a lot of time and effort within engineering to make this machine 2 times more durable, especially in the front structures, adding a larger counterweight in the back, which we'll talk about. And that helps us do many other things. Help us work in more rigid conditions and allows us to actually put larger work tools on the front of this. Everyone wants a bigger, faster, stronger machine, and our engineers have done an amazing job to get us to that. And so now we're going to walk through and point out some of these things that we did. These are the major changes to the machine. And we're going to talk about the durability of this machine. This is what we're saying 2 times more durable. And what we've done to that, it's pretty simple. To make something stronger, you often add more steel to it. So this machine has added weight in the front linkage. This linkage is the same JC linkage for Mass X machines or HB2 for the standard and reach configurations. It is the same for existing 390F work tools, buckets. It will still go on here, but we've beefed up the boom, stick, all the way into the car body. And what we're going to do is we're going to point out some of the areas where we've added material. Some of this, in some of these plates on the top plate, where my pointer is, and the plate up here on the machine, as well as the side plates, we've added up to 20% more material in some of these sections of the stick. Same with the boom. Since this is thicker, there's more weight here, there's more metal here, there's more steel. That's where we're coming up with the durability, where we're getting longer longevity out of the life, especially in those hard working conditions where you're scaling rock, you're working in hard granite, whatever the application may be, and you're really working this machine to the max and working on the side rigidity of this machine. Adding the extra steel has given it more durability. With that said, it's added more weight to it. So we've got in the top and the bottom plates of the boom up here, we have added additional steel to it. Same with the top. That has gone all the way down the boom, all the way into the car body itself. We've added more steel, more weld gussets. We've done quite a bit going all the way into the car body, all the way into the frame of the machine. That has added extra weight. That extra weight is out on the front, right? So we've done some things to counteract that to keep the center of gravity where it needs to be, and it also actually allows us to put a larger bucket on that. And we're going to go back to the machine here in a bit, but with the larger counterweight allows us to do some extra things, and we're pretty excited about it. In fact, this bucket right here is a newer bucket for us. This is a 6.8 cubic yard bucket. It's a new bucket for us, but in a like configuration machine before, this really wouldn't apply to our bucket matching guide. So we're excited to be able to offer a newer bucket. And while we're up here, we talked about the linkage. We want to talk about some of the other features that we've done to this. And one thing that we get asked a lot is, do you guys have auto lube? And we had it in the past. In some regions we didn't. And some of the contractors and companies and dealers themselves would prefer a different brand. And so what we did is we worked with 3 or 4 different auto lube manufacturers, and we've made this auto lube ready, meaning we're not putting the lines on it, we're not putting the buckets on it, but we have added all the weld gussets, and I'll show you in a few other spots where we've made it auto lube ready where they can run their lines all the way up to all the hinge points or anywhere that the grease line would be needed. We have made that easy for them all to install. We came to an agreement. We asked many people all over North America, you know, what do you prefer? And we came up with the agreement that we're just going to make it easy for any one of these manufacturers to put your preferred auto lube system on there. Some other things that we've done, we talk about being able to put bigger buckets on this. You put bigger buckets on this, you might need a little more oomph, you could say. So we have 10% increased bucket force. We've added the bucket cylinder is larger than it previously was before. This cylinder here, we've got more mass within the rod, allowing it to get you more bucket force, up to 10%. When you put a bigger bucket on there, you may need that extra oomph to get through the cut, whether it's hard dirt, compacted clay, caliche, rock, granite, whatever the condition is, whatever the configuration is, we've increased the force, the bucket force, to be able to get into those hard working conditions. Like I said, same linkage throughout the front. It is HB2 linkage or JC linkage, depending on what configuration you have. But if you have existing buckets today, it doesn't matter. Your buckets of old can fit on this machine, as the same that it would on a 390F or 390D. So we've done a lot up front here. And while we're standing up front here, the most important, the working end of the machine is the next generation launch of excavators started in 2017. And we jumped in head first with technology. And we didn't pass it up on the 395 either. So this 395 is littered with standard technology, very similar to a 336, to a 320, to our smaller machines. And what that means is we have standard 2D grade. We have standard e-fence, meaning we have safety features. And I'm going to do a live demo in a bit, and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about with these features, because for some of you customers that are used to this size machine class aren't used to that kind of technology. But I think it's very beneficial for most of applications that you all will be doing. So grade, and what I mean by that is these bucket teeth right here, we know exactly where this bucket is at all times. We know where that tip is, and the center tips, and the outside tip, because we have done a true measurement of this machine. We know every dimension of this bucket. We know the dimensions of the stick. And if I can point out to right above the hydraulic lines up there, there's this little box up there, and that's called an IMU. That is a sensor to let us know the angle of the stick, how far it goes out, how far it comes in. We also have one on the boom, and it's right up by the headlight up there, right above where the boom cylinder mounts to the boom, and that is another IMU. We have one right here. This is a non-contact magnetic sensor sitting behind that tells us the bucket angle, so we know what angle the bucket's doing. There's also a sensor on the car body to let the machine know how it's sitting fore and aft. No, because we know all of that and we've done all these measurements, allows us to do all this standard technology. And like I said, 2D grade. What I mean by that is if you're digging 15 foot deep, 20 feet deep, 30 feet deep, or you're working a 10-foot bench and you want to maintain that, I can tell within the display that I want to do 10 foot deep from right at this bucket tip, and I tell the monitor, and it's going to guide me and tell me how deep I am from that point. It's constant feedback to the operator as the depth that they are. We have the safety features. You can see that we're in a building here today. It's not terribly uncommon that a machine of this size will be working under power lines. If it's in a sewer water application, it could be digging a large foundation inside of a building, you name it. Sometimes there's overhead obstructions. There's obstructions to the side, left, right, to the front. We're able to stop this machine left and right, up and down. We can give it parameters to work in, which will physically stop the front linkage from going to any one of those parameters that we set, because it is electric over hydraulic and we know where all this linkage is. One of the other fantastic features we have on this is our payload system. This one, to me, for this size machine, it is a game changer. This is great to know. How many trucks did I load today? How much total tons did I load today? What was my efficiency in tons per hour, tons per gallon, or liter, wherever you're at? Total amount of trucks for the day, total buckets for the day. There is a lot of information that I'm going to show you in our live demo as to how that can benefit you on a daily basis. The operators, if you're loading 300 and 400 trucks a day and they're using a load counter, that gets old. They might skip, they might miss. This is all digitized. The operator physically loads a truck as they normally do, but the system has a scale, very similar to a wheel loader. We know how much material we'll put in every single bucket, and we know how much material we're going to put in the truck, because when the truck is full, we can store the machine or store the truck, and you just keep doing that all day long. It's a nice, safe, productive way to keep track of what's going on for the day. Say you're loading on highway trucks for the smaller machines. You want to prevent overloading or underloading of the trucks. It's going to allow you to do that. When everything is done properly and the measurements have been done and the calibrations have been done, where your dealer has done that for you, we're saying plus or minus 3% accuracy. And then to be able to keep track of how many trucks that day, how many total buckets, the total gallons per hour. I mean, there's so much information that we can pull from that in several different ways. And again, we'll show you in the demo, but I can look at it on the monitor that the operator can see. I can put a USB into the side of the monitor and pull that information off onto an Excel spreadsheet. It's also using our product link antennas and pushing it out to the Vision Link office center, where you can extract that information on a daily basis to see what this machine did specifically. So we're going to show you some of that live demo, but that what I just talked about is all standard on every 395 that we're going to sell within North America. So something to look forward to. I think there's a benefit in almost every customer being able to use one of these standard technologies that we have on there, which sets us far above the rest of the world that we're working with today. So we talked about all the front linkage, the extended durability, the auto lube system, auto lube ready. We talked about the increased bucket force because we're allowing larger buckets. There's a lot of great things happening in just the front of the machine, and you really haven't even got to see the rest of the machine. So what we're going to do is I want to show you one quick point on the machine here. Is when we talked about auto lube ready, and we talked about putting weld bosses and points to run your lines for your lube system, and they're all over the machine for you to be able to put that on there. Typically within this compartment here, this is where your lube reel would be and your grease gun. We've got it set up in the back of this compartment. It's extremely large that you can put your lube bucket in there and work previously as you did before with whatever brand that you so choose to use. So we're pretty excited about being able to use whatever the customer prefers for their fleet on their trucks, on their dozers, whatever they're using, wheel loaders, and they can maintain that same relationship with whoever they're using. So we're pretty excited about that. We're going to work around to the tracks now. This is a brand new machine from top to bottom, and we literally mean that, from all the structures into the undercarriage. And these machines don't work in feathers, right? They don't work in cotton ball factories. So we've got we've had to increase some things along with the durability of the front. We've added more material to the track links, giving us extended life in the tracks, which, like we said, these things they don't work in pillow factories. So to be able to add more material to the track links is going to give you extended life in those harsh conditions. Something that's going to help you with your operating cost in the future. You know, you're replacing tracks, it's not cheap. We want to make sure that you can get the longest life out of it that you can. The cab, many of you have been around a next generation excavator, and I will tell you, years ago we started the process of redesigning our Caterpillar excavator cabs. And some of the feedback that we've gotten is night and day difference from a previous cab. And what we mean by that is we've widened the seat. We've given you more glass for better visibility. We have pulled all of the functions from behind the operator all the way up to the front of them, where their elbow all the way forward. We have a standard 10-inch monitor in the machine, touchscreen monitor. So you choose not to use the touchscreen, there's a jog dial. Very similar to the automotive industry, where you can run that thing using a jog dial without having to reach up and touch the monitor. You have your own choice. Shortcuts within the monitor to use all the standard technology that we talked about, to turning on your HVAC system, to your radio. This has hands-free Bluetooth. So if it's allowed on your job site and you're out working and you have your phone connected, you can connect your personal device, your personal phone, within the cab, and you can stream music. You can talk hands-free. You can set up one of the joysticks to answer the phone. It's extremely similar to the automotive industry. So, we talked about operator ID. You can add up to 50 different operator IDs. And when you set up your own operator ID, it's unique to you and the number that you give it. And what I mean by that is, say you run a different lever pattern and you have your own operator code. You punch that code in, it will stay with that. I get in at lunch, I get in the next day, and I run a different lever pattern. And my radio stations or presets are different. It will remember me by my code. And you can have up to 50 different operator codes in there. It's pretty amazing the information that this thing will store that allows this operator to stay comfortable. And we talked about the wider seat. This size machine, a 395, is not a machine you're getting in and out of all day long. It's your office. You sit in it for 8, 10, 12 hours a day. It's a shift. We wanted to give you every opportunity to say, to be comfortable, to give you storage, to give you power outlets, to give you shades. This is a completely redesigned cab, flip-up armrest, to try to make the ergonomics of getting in and out of the machine safer, especially on a machine of this size. I'm not very tall, but you can tell this is a large machine, and getting in and out of it isn't always easy. But if I can make the access into the cab easier by using the flip-up armrest, it's a huge game changer, and we're pretty excited to be able to do that. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to climb up on the cab and up on the walk deck, and we're going to go through and look at some of the layout design changes, which are extremely different. This is a major layout difference from a 390F. And what we did, and the main reason we did that was a couple things. One, operator safety. These require some daily maintenance every single day, whether it's checking the oil, checking the def, lubrication, checking your hydraulic oil to your coolant. If we can make it easy and in a central location to get up on one side of the machine as opposed to both, I think we're winning. It's going to help for, one, the operator getting in and out, and also the service technicians that are changing the oil and changing the filters. And if we can make it simpler for them and safer for them, I think we're winning. So now I'm going to climb up on this machine, and we're going to take a look at this major layout difference and some of the benefits that is going to happen to the technician and to the operator on their daily basis. And it is a large machine. We encourage 3 points of contact, and you'll walk up here, and we have several different doors here. You can see that you can open up this compartment, and this is where the batteries are at. This is cold weather system on this machine, 24 volt. Our battery compartment is in there nice and clean. Over here is your windshield washer fluid. That's where the compartment is for it. But one nice feature that you have in here is, depending on the time of year and where you live in the world, you might have days when you start early and it's dark, or you're done and it's dark. And something we've done is we've found a way to illuminate the entire back system of this. And there's a light switch right here behind the window, and I flip that on so you can see the difference of the light that's giving for the safety for the operator and the technician to get on there and do their work. So if you would, I think we'll invite the camera to come up here, and we'll show you some benefits up here. Okay, so we're up on the deck of the 395 now, and we're directly behind the cab. And as you can see, there's a large platform there to stand to do your swing drive checks. It's nice, clean, simple system, easy to work, easy for maintenance, and easy for your daily inspections. There's a lot of foot traffic area up here that you're not having to climb over hoses or work in those tight conditions where it's not easy to work on hoses of that size. You need some good working room, and I think we've done a great job of doing that. So now we're going to take a step back here where we've got this nice large platform for the operator to do some daily checks. We've got our hydraulic sight gauge right here for the hydraulic tank, which is directly behind this panel. And you walk in here and you're going to directly see filters, easy exposed filters for easy maintenance. And if we can make this easier on anybody, this is great. Typically on an F-Series 390F machine, you would have to access this side from the other side of the machine, meaning that operator's got to climb down, they got to get up on that other side, come up and do their checks, climb down, come back, get in the cab, and then they go to work. This time, they can get up on one side, stay up on one side, and get directly to work. So being able to limit the times that you have to get up and down on a machine this size when it's wet, snowy, muddy, I think we're going to eliminate a lot of potential accidents. So we're pretty excited about that. And the folks that have seen this machine already and the service technicians that have looked at it are thrilled by this new layout. So we'll climb up here. It's nice and clean, and everything you need to do for most of your filters, most of your maintenance is all right here. You've got your 3 canister filters right here. You've got your hydraulic filters right on the other side. Pull those cartridges out, swap out your filters. Everything is nice and exposed, easy for you to get at, easy for you to work, limiting the foot traffic up and down on the machine. Right here, still has a C18, 542 horsepower. The old traditional C18 that we have, but there's so much room in here. And what this highlights is what you can see with that light, as down below there's your engine oil dipstick. Great open bay here to see what needs to be serviced, to check for potential leaks, check for bird nests that sit in there, whatever happens to these machines. You know, again, these don't sit out in all the pretty elements of the world. We want to make sure that we do a good daily inspection and check all of those service points. And something else we have is right behind me. We've made this standard on a lot of the next generation excavators, is our filtration system, our air filtration system. These are standard with all of our next generation excavators, but what these are standard with is a pre-cleaner. And what I mean by that is I can take these off, and you see all these little holes on the front. That's part of the pre-cleaner system. And these are these little turbine type systems in here, and they're sucking in that dirty air and they're dropping it down, and it's not getting sucked into the filter. And then you've got a large canister type filter. And what we're saying with this, and if you're getting 500 hours out of your existing filter, we're going to get 1,000 out of these. We're doubling the lifetime of the filters for these machines. And we're hearing that from the field, that they're working. And the pre-cleaner system has been a big change for us, and we're pretty happy to be able to have that as a standard feature. So what you're seeing right here is you're seeing our optional 3D GPS system. And you may wonder, why on earth would you need 3D on a machine of a 395 size? Actually, it's pretty common on a machine of this size. One, if you want to maintain specific bench height, you can have your whole entire quarry site, mine site, whether you're doing deep sewer work and you want to maintain a straight ditch line and depth. This is a great system on here to give the operator complete guidance of the entire job site, and it gives them tremendous efficiency. If you're doing the deep sewer work, it keeps somebody out of the ditch a little more often than they would need to be. The operator has complete guidance of that bucket tip and where the machine is at all times on the entire job site. So it's essentially having the surveyor sitting in the cab with the operator, letting them know what's going on at all times. It is a really fantastic, handy tool that keeps the operator moving constantly without having to ask questions. So a couple other things we're going to talk about are some other options that we have on this machine. And this machine is configured with what we call 360-degree camera, meaning it's basically a drone view from above the machine down, giving you 360-degree visibility around the machine. And we do that by adding 4 cameras. Standard on this machine, we have 2 cameras. We have one in the rear on the counterweight, and we have one on the right side for your blind side. But if you want the 360-degree vision, you can add the additional 2 cameras, giving you the 360-degree view. And you can isolate each individual camera if you want, or you can make it a panoramic view, a landscape view, whatever you want to do. You have options to customize what you're looking at on the monitor. We start with 1 camera's right under the guard right here, under the light guard. We have a camera that's pointing out that direction. And then if you walk down the side here, we've got a camera here on the left side of the machine, on the cab side. When you add all 4 of those cameras together, and you'll see in the demo when I turn it on, this gives you, with the other 2 cameras included, it'll give you that top-down drone view. One other thing we have on this is the lighting package. This is new low-profile lights on the machine. They go around the entire back. And if you're in tree areas or things where you've got obstacles in the way, this is a great way to keep those lights from getting ripped off, because they're low-profile, extremely bright LED lights, and which give you great work vision while you're trying to create your task and finish your task for the day. Now, while we're on this side, this is one of the layout changes. You know, again, we talked about being able to get in on the side of the machine here for all your maintenance and daily inspections. Well, the pump compartment is on this side. This is the only Cat excavator of this size in the large excavator lineup that we have the pump on this side. So we've got a hydraulic pump right here. And one of the new features that we have on this machine is our own dedicated hydrostatic swing pump. So it has its own closed loop circuit, dedicated hydraulic swing pump. And we've got 2 little pumps back there. It's a closed loop circuit, which it's not taking from any other feature of the machine. It's not borrowing hydraulic flow from the stick to the track to whatever. It's its own dedicated swing system, giving us 10% increased swing torque. And if you're swinging uphill casting material, or you're loading material into a truck uphill, or you're trying to sideswipe using the side of your bucket to clean up your trench. Whatever you're doing, you need that additional swing torque. The new system here is allowing that and giving you that. And we talk about 10%. A lot of people, you're not going to see or feel 2, 3, 4%. But when we talk about 10% in swing, you do feel it. You've got a larger bucket on there now. You have more weight out front, and you get additional 10% swing torque. You're casting more material, which is, quite honestly, you're getting more productivity out of this machine than we were in our previous F-Series. This is a nice clean solution. EVAC system there, standard. And while we're up here, we can talk about the counterweight system. This is equipped with counterweight removal device. And we would trigger the system, we would arm it, flipping that on if the machine was on. And then once the bolts are extracted from the back of the counterweight, which we'll see in a bit, then I would raise or lower what I'm trying to do with this. And this is a new counter lever system. And you saw the diagram in the PowerPoint, but the counterweight just comes and counter levers out. It's no longer the chain drop system that we had before, allowing you to back up to the low boy or set it right on the ground, keeping it away from the operator. Because as you can see, I'm running this and lowering it from up here and completely away from the counterweight. So it's another thing that we've added to the machine to give more safety features for our customers. That quite honestly, we have customers that these counterweights come on and off every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. These machines, quite honestly, do get moved more often than what you'd think. So having a quick system for them is a nice, reliable, and quick and efficient and safe way to remove the counterweight. So I've gotten down from the machine. You've seen the new layout, the new design that we have, which we're extremely excited about. Well, we just talked about how the counterweight comes on and off, and you can see this is a larger counterweight. This is a 34,000 pound counterweight, considerably larger than the F-Series. Having all this extra weight on the back of the machine, which helps with the center of gravity, allowing us to put larger buckets on this machine, is going to help out the customer being more productive, getting more material extracted from the earth, everything they do on a daily basis. So again, this is a much larger counterweight. We've got one of the rear cameras, standard, right above the cat symbol, is a recessed light in the counterweight. It's not protruding out to get ripped off. You can see the low profile lights that we have on the back of this. And basically to take it off, you'd pull the cat panel off. You've got 8 large bolts to pull off. The operator gets up there, the technician gets back up in that pump compartment, activates it, and this whole system counter levers off, and you can set it on the ground, all the way flush on the ground, or if you back it up to your low boy, you can set it here and set it right on the deck of the truck. Unpin it, and you're ready to go. It's a nice, clean system. It's worked well. We're excited to get these out again. It's nice and clean. The recessed lights, the recessed camera, low profile. It's a clean, sharp looking machine. So what we'll do now is we'll walk around to this side. Again, this is one of the major changes that we've done to this machine because the layout's different. The entire cooling package is on the opposite side. We've got the 2 large panels up there. It's a radiator, as you'd typically see your air-to-air after cooler, your fuel cooler, your hydraulic cooler. Everything is back there. 2 large fans cooling this machine. They are on-demand fans, meaning they're only working when they need to. They're extremely smart. They know when one system needs a cool from the other. They work independently if they need to. It's extremely efficient system. Again, on demand, only working when they need to. One of the other great features about this is standard auto reversing fans. So if you're in a high debris area and there's a lot of dust and debris and you're having to worry about getting these radiators cleaned out, it has standard on demand. So if I want to set it at every 30 minutes, I want it to kick on and reverse to blow the system out. You can do that. You can set it an hour. You can go in there and change how often you want those things to go and reverse to clean out the system. That is a standard on all of these 395 machines, all large cat excavators. We have the standard auto reversing fan. We talked about the undercarriage. We've added more material to it. We walk up closer to the machine. This machine is equipped with what we call a quick fuel system, which if it's equipped with this, you can fuel your machine this way. It's a pressurized system. You can get in there. It's very similar to an aircraft where you'd put the fuel nozzle on there. It pressurizes. You turn it on. It pushes the fuel in the machine. Then I don't have to get up there on top of the machine. I don't have to open up the fuel cap, potentially allowing debris to fall into the fuel. Then it's got to get filtered. So that's one way to prevent the operator from having to climb up there with that big hose reel isn't always easy to climb up on these machines. So another feature that you can add to the machine to make it easier for the operator. And then we walk up here. One of the new design changes that we've done is we've clipped off the corner of this. The visibility that we have from the operator, I can stand right here and see exactly what the operator would be doing. Not safe and probably not in a common, but for the operator, meaning they can, if I can see them, they can see me. We've clipped this corner off, we've shortened it. The visibility here is fantastic. Right up inside here is where your def tank is. There's an 80-liter def tank in there, so it's plenty of capacity for that to keep running for on 12-hour shifts. We have no issues with that. So this is a completely redesigned machine. We've talked about a lot of things, the standard technology. We talked about the increased durability, the increased performance. We've got more engine horsepower. It's a heavier machine. This machine is completely redesigned from top to bottom. We're very excited to get it out. There's been a lot of buzz. We released this machine over a year ago at Con Expo. And I know many of you may have gone. It's been over a year where we debuted this. We've got a lot of traction, a lot of media coverage on this machine. We're really excited to get it out for all of our customers and dealers to get out, start getting this thing dirty, wearing the paint off of it so you guys can start making money. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get in the cab and we're going to go do through the technology, give you a live demo of how the grade control works and how we can keep productivity tabs on the operator. The operator can keep it on themselves, and we're going to load a truck so you can see how the system works. Okay, so now we're in the 395 next generation excavator. I want to go through some of the stuff on the monitor. This monitor here is pretty unique, whereas it's a full touch screen, and we're able to use it very similar to any sort of tablet, whether it's an iPad or a Samsung tablet or whatever you're used to. This is all touch screen, and I'm able to navigate it by just touching a specific feature, such as getting into the menu, the home gauge. These are shortcuts down here. But one of the important things is when you get in the machine, you want to know what's going on. And if I can, this would be the information displayed when I get in to turn the machine on. I'm logged in as a master operator, as a master code, you could say, which gives me, let's say it's like admin rights in your computer. I have more access to different screens in this than I would as a guest or a normal user, which would be a lot of owner operators. It tells me what joystick pattern I'm using, what size bucket, and how the modulation is, the spools, and how fast the joysticks respond to what you're doing. And it's also telling here on the left side what these buttons are doing. These are configurable per operator. Again, this is operator 1. We could have up to 50, and these could all be different for all 50 operators. So the left side here I have used for the payload system, which we're going to talk about in a bit. And then this over here I've got for several different functions. We've got the grade control setting. We've got 360-degree visibility and radio mute, some other things that you would want to know. So when you log into the machine, you turn the ring to start the machine. This is the information that's displayed when you get started. So now that I let off, we want to talk about starting off with one of the safety features. You can tell that we're working indoors, and so we're going to be able to show you how the e-fence feature works. And this is what we talked about when put yourself in a protective bubble where I can stop the front linkage from going anywhere. So you can see I have the yellow ring, 2D ceiling, we have 2D floor, wall, meaning in front of me, and cab avoidance. Depending on what work tool I have on the front of this machine, I can prevent the front bucket tooth or objects within the cab, depending on where I set that, from getting too close to the cab or striking the cab, as well as swinging left and swinging right. So I can prevent this machine from, if I have a high wall on the left side of the machine and I want to make sure that I'm not digging into it, or whether it's a sewer and water job and we want to make sure we're not getting into the right of way of anything, we can stop the machine from swinging one way or the other. And so what we're going to do is we're going to show you that, and let's just show e-sealing, and what we'll do is we'll have John with the camera. He'll be able to step back and you'll be able to see me working the monitor, and you'll be able to see the machine stopping. So we're going to go up and I'm going to activate the machine. We're going to show e-sealing just as one quick reference. And so I've got the boom up in the air, and I have extra boom to go, but I'm going to come back down and we're going to turn the e-sealing on. And here's a shortcut. I press and hold that button right there. I'm going to turn on e-sealing. So what it does, because we know where all the linkage is on this machine, every part of it, it knows that I'm 28 feet from the bottom of the tracks to the obstruction up top. So I'll go back down to the home screen. You can see that it's highlighted. I'm gonna boom down. It's no longer beeping at me. But I do know that that is activated because it's green. If it was E-wall, it would be green. If it was E-floor, it'd be green. Whatever one is highlighted and activated, that's. And it slows down and it prevents me from going up past that, whether that's hitting rafters in a building, whether that's hitting power lines or trees or whatever the obstruction is above you, you can go in and prevent it from hitting that. Now, if I press and hold, I can turn it off. Now it is off, back to the home screen, and now that's back, and now I have full range of motion with the front linkage. So like we said, you can do that in front, you can do that to the left or to the right, and it will prevent the machine from swinging any farther. Now, one other thing we want to talk about is we talked about the 2D grade control. So this is a lot of settings in here that we could use, but I want to dig down. I want to put a depth from where my bucket teeth are right now. I'm going to press and hold this button here as another shortcut. I have 3 different presets. You can have up to 4 total offsets in this machine. So if you're doing a sewer and water application and you have fill material, you have your subgrade at say 6 feet, and then you have a 4/10 bedding material, whatever would be, you can go ahead and preset that. So I'm going to put that as my cut, 6 feet deep. It's going to tell me 5.998, and there's no reference to wear. So what I need to do is I need to bench, and I can do it several different ways. I can go through the monitor here and say benchmark set, and I can press that button there, or in the monitor I set up the button over here on the right side for benchmark, and that would, if you follow arrow, that's the benchmark. I'm going to press the button. Okay, now it's giving me indication that I have nearly a 6-foot cut. What I meant by having different offsets, if I just touch that button, it's going to cycle through whatever ones I put in the machine. So now we're at 0, back to 6 foot. So we're going to dig now, and what you're going to see as I start to excavate the earth, the material is going to come out, and you're going to see this number go from 6 foot down to 4 foot, so on and so forth, as well as indication with the light bars here. And when I get to grade, it's going to go green, and it's going to tell me that I'm at zeros right here. So we're going to start digging now. So you can already see that we're taking material out. Dump over there. Now, whether you're doing a bench or whether you're doing a deep sewer cut, having this constant identification as to where the bucket tooth is and bucket at all times is a fantastic feature, because there's no second guessing. And with a machine of this size, oftentimes, and you're trying to scratch, 30 mil or a couple tenths of material, you can't feel it because it's such a large machine. So having the constant grade indicator is a great feature for the operator to know what they're doing and where they're at all times. As you can see, this machine, as large as it is, it's fast, very fluid. You can excavate as much as you want or as little as you want. It's got plenty of power. This is hard compacted soil here at the Edwards Demonstration Learning Center outside of Peoria. Done a lot of these demos with this machine. Pretty happy with what we've got so far. Okay, we're going to continue to get closer. And now, so this is up to me though. Now I do have full indication as to where I'm at, what I'm doing, and how deep I'm going, but I do need to keep an eye as to where we're at with grade. And what I mean by that is I can get really close to grade, but now I went below grade. What we can do is I want to go in and I want to turn on some notifications to let me know that I'm above and below grade. And we're going to go to sound setup. And when I'm on grade, I want it to beep at me when I'm on grade. You can do it above grade, below grade. You have all kinds of options, very similar to a grade rod or a laser rod. As I get down, now you hear it. Okay, so now I don't have to look at the monitor as much. I can just dig and listen to the tones, and out of my peripheral vision, I can see how deep I'm digging. And here, just by the tone itself. So again, whether you're digging deep sewer or working a bench and you want to maintain a specific level, I'm not doing a very good job today of maintaining a grade. Nice and simple, and you can do that all day. You can put a percentage in, you can put a slope in. Here you can go by degrees. You can determine what you want to do, so we'll go into that and I can show you what I mean by that. Sorry, I went to the wrong screen. So grade settings, okay. Now grade unit select. If I'm using a slope, you can do degree, percentage, or rise over run. So whatever your company or whatever you prefer, you're able to use that. And this is the same. You have up to 4 options for the offset, and you have up to 4 options for the slope, as well as cross slope. And then as I move, I'm gonna hit the track. It's saying grade detect travel. It knows that I'm going to be traveling. Then I would just need to re-bench. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig, and I have a flat floor here, so it makes it easy for me. But I'm going to track back, and I'm going to step my next set. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the payload system along with the grade control system. So now I'm traveling. And whether you're doing this all day long, I know that I have a specific flat grade here, which is okay. But if I had a hub I was running off of, whether there was grade stakes on the side, I could set my bucket tooth on the right side of my bucket tooth on that grade, and it'd let me know. But I know that I'm good right here, and I'm going to re-bench. So I'm good to go. I'm ready to dig. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to add one more feature to this. This is the payload feature. And again, we have a shortcut here, and I can get in here, and I want to turn this feature on, so I'm going to turn it on. I can also use the button joystick to let me know. I can set that up for whatever one I want. And we're going to close out, so it's turned on. I want to reset. We've got 40 tons right there. So this truck, we'll put 40 tons. In fact, we'll just go a little lower. Let's just put 30 in. I want to press and hold that button where it says 40. It's going to get me to the screen where I want to change my target payload, and we're going to make that 30 just for time's sake. Okay, so now I've got 30 tons set. It tells me right here what's going to happen is when I take a scoop and I dig down, I'm going to pull the material out of the ground. I'm going to have how much ever weight is in the bucket, and when I swing over and dump it to the truck, that weight that was in the bucket will transfer to the truck, and then it would deduct from the 30 ton, and you just keep going down until you get to grade. So I'm going to spot my truck. I'm going to get the attention of my truck driver, see him to come over here. Have John, we got a 772 over here. We're going to load him up. We'll get him spotted. All right, we got their truck where we want them. We're going to put 30 ton of material on this truck. So we're going to start digging, and I'll walk you through what's going on here. So we're going to come up. All right. So okay, you can see that I have 7.5. So it's still measuring. Well, it takes measurements as I boom up and start to swing. It starts doing its calculations. It's going to go green. You just heard the tag. As soon as I start dumping, it's going to transfer that ton to the truck. So now you can see 7.4 is in the truck. It's deducted from the 30 ton to 22.6. And I'm just going to keep loading this truck just as I normally would. I'm not going to be staring at the screen. As soon as I start swinging, there's a noise that made that bucket go green. So as you can see, that's green. There's a sound that goes off, so I don't have to stare at the monitor to let me know that that was an accurate weight. You want this to be as easy for the operator to use. If I have 10 or 15 buttons to push to make this thing work, odds are they're not going to use it as much. We don't want it to be difficult. We want it to be simple and fluid. Okay, I'm pretty close to getting I'm within 1 bucket. I just put 9 in. So we have very similar to the wheel loader system where we have tip off. So you can get as close as you want, and we're gonna fill the bucket up here. Okay, I have too much material in there. It's really close, and I can shake a little bit off. Very similar to the wheel loader system, I'm shaking a little bit off. Okay, I'm gonna say that's pretty darn close. You can get as accurate as we want. We're gonna dump this to the truck, see what we get. All right, we're 1.2 ton away. You can spend as much time to get that as close as you want, or as far as you want, but I'm gonna be okay with 1.2 ton. I'm gonna store that truck. It resets, goes back to 0. Now, that's another truck. That means I've loaded 104 trucks today, and I'm ready to go back. Now, you can store up to certain specific trucks. I didn't load a 740, but I could have put the 772 in there if I wanted to. Or you don't necessarily have to put a truck in there. And I'm gonna honk the truck off. He can head out, but I wanna show you that you can do this without a specific target payload to just load trucks as they go. You do not have to set that in there. What I mean by that is I can still gather data, and I'm just gonna dump it off to the side. Or if I did have a truck, it would do the same thing. Okay, that went there, and this is just for demonstration purposes. Say we got a much smaller truck. We got a 725 and it doesn't hold as much material. I'm gonna quick throw a couple passes on it. We'll do one more. And again, I know there's no truck there, but I just want to show you that you can gather the same amount of information without having a specific payload in there or a specific truck designation. So this will be the last one to put on there. Pretend that the truck's full, and we honk them off, and then I store that, put 25 ton on that truck. A lot of great information on there, and you can just continue to do that all day. We've loaded 105 trucks. But what I want to tell you is at the end of the day, you want to see how much material you've worked with. I'm going to arrow up, and I'm going to go to my payload setting. I'm going to hit OK, and we have the work monitor, and this is going to tell me what I've done for the day. And we're running average fuel rate, and this is in gallons per hour, so 9.27 gallons per hour. Productivity in tons per hour. Average efficiency, payload, we've done 4,100.7 tons. If you put a density in, you can get total volume. Truck count, 105 trucks, 448 buckets. All this information is going on at all times. And if you want to at the end of the day and you want to reset, you would just hit the menu button, you'd tap that reset, and all these numbers would clear out, and they would all be zeros, and you'd ready to be going for the rest of the day with all new numbers. And again, you can look at it visually. You can go to the side of the monitor right here and put a USB in there and extract that data off. There's lots of information, lots of things you can do on this. So one other thing I want to show is I'm going to turn this system off, and one other feature that's nice to have, especially in a sewer water application, is something we call lift assist. And if you're lifting structures or two things I want to show. We're going to go back to 360 visibility. We talked about the camera system, which you didn't see. What it's doing now is it's taking all 4 cameras and it's going to merge them all together to give me the complete 360 degree view. It takes a few seconds for it to merge them, but there we go. Now we have all these this visibility area all the way around the machine. You can see my camera guy off to the left. The trucks are gone, and as I move and operate, see the bucket gets back into view. If you don't want to use that view, you can just go right back out of it, hit the menu button, turn off the 360 degree. That's okay. It's going to turn off the 4 cameras, and then you can toggle through all the different cameras that you like. But just by touching the screen, you can look at all the different views that are out there. Really handy system. Great for safety, visibility, great for not hitting obstructions or anything in the way. Now, we'll go back to what I wanted to show you was the 360 visibility, which we showed you. So that pretty much wraps up A lot of the features that we've shown on this machine, we've talked about in the presentation. We talked about the new features, the new layout, the standard technology, all the features and benefits that the machine offers. We're really excited about this. Feel free to reach out to your dealer, to your salesperson, to gather information, and we Caterpillar will do the best we can to get you what you need. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something today. And until next time, we're gonna wrap it up for the day. So thanks.